Although I didn't see, I saw a lot of people without masks out and about, and I'm a little bit worried that we might see a spike in cases, which would lead to further stay at home orders. And if that happens, Dave, it's going to be bad news for everybody, but especially for movie theaters. And that brings us to AMC, who is not having a great week, would you say? With Universal talking about the success of Trolls World Tour 2, the rise of the Trolls. I actually don't know if that's the name. Probably not going to
Trolls
watch
World Tour,
Trolls.
the second Trolls movie.
And it made over $100 million just being a pay video on demand option, and that's pretty crazy. You have this big children's movie. It did really well. It would have been about in third just for its on demand numbers. So the Universal head said, yeah, when movie theaters do come back, we will be releasing it in theaters, but also for pay on demand as well at home. So AMC did not like that very much and said, well, Universal, we're not going to allow you to show your movies in our theaters anymore. And Regal's parent company soon followed up in unison with AMC. So right now, it's Universal versus the movie theaters. Dave, where are you falling in this battle?
Well, I do appreciate AMC throwing up the bird real fast with this, to be honest, because we all know that both parties need each other to succeed. And I think a lot of people, especially people that are just rooting for more stuff to be VOD, are kind of getting ahead of themselves with their declarations about movie theaters, because let's not forget, Universal was very quick to push No Time to Die to November and Fast 9 to 2021. They could put those movies that are done out right now on VOD if it was actually a realistic option for the profit margins they are seeking. Trolls World Tour making $100 million. That's in about 3 weeks. That's with a captive audience at an inflated rental price and no competition. $100 million, even when you get like an 80-20 take as opposed to like the 50-50 theater split, even with that increased, return, that ain't going to cut it for Fast 9 or No Time to Die. Even if we double that or triple that, that still ain't going to cut it. They need each other. They need the theaters. Obviously, AMC and Regal can't cut out some of the biggest franchises they have because it's the blockbusters that really make all the big money for theaters, right? So they need each other. And with nothing, I think, of note for Universal coming out until like September, when the Candyman reboot is currently dated, there's plenty of time to renegotiate with windowing, right? So I think it'll be resolved in some case, although clearly the windowing probably be changed in some way. But it's just kind of interesting to see it, I think, blow up so publicly and so quickly. But I guess it also isn't that unexpected, It's kind of, the COVID's kind of accelerating a lot of, changes. So kind of interesting.
Yeah, these changes were things that people have been talking about, had been kind of on the horizon. Even from the start of our podcast 4 years ago, we've kind of been keeping our eye on the shift to paying to watch movies that are in theaters at home. And it's inevitable that at some point this will probably be an option, or at least be a quicker option than it is currently. But yeah, as you said, the COVID-19 situation has sped a lot of this up. However, in the long run, I agree with you. I think this is a lot of posturing, and it's going to end up they're going to work something out. But it is interesting to think. Netflix has recently started to build a theater, I believe, and in New York City, they're building this like very upscale and like modern theater.
They bought some famous theaters. I forget the names. The Egyptian is one of them. One in LA, one in New York. Yeah.
Well, one thing I was thinking about is if they would maybe do something along the lines of, if they do expand their theaters down the road, make deals with these companies so that they could get their movies quicker to streaming, but have like exclusive releases. Now the theaters obviously, or the companies like Universal, that wouldn't really make sense for, but for something like an A24, that might be enticing, not only to get more eyeballs on it, but potentially make more of an event around these sort of things. I know that you talked last year about going to see, the movie's escaping me, but you saw a director introduce his movie, The Lobster, or not The Lobster. You like me, don't you, Lobster?
The Lighthouse, yeah,
The
Robert
Lighthouse,
Eggers Q&A.
so close. And that sort of thing feels very intriguing of like some sort of partnership if these smaller production companies want to team up. I don't know the math on it, and again, I'm not an executive, but just something I was thinking about if there's ever an option like that. But for the large scale ones, I don't think they could ever be that exclusive to make their margins back.
No, and that's the thing. If for some reason this was to go in effect moving forward, big scale blockbusters would just need to cost less money for them to be realistic, because they only cost so much, 200 million and up, because they can get pretty much guarantee they're going to make the profit back.
Right.
So there's two sides, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I don't think, I don't think anything's going to be too rapid. We have a long time for this to simmer down.